The 2000 election between George W. Bush and Al Gore was the fourth election in U.S. history, and the first in 112 years in which the winner was elected without obtaining a majority of the popular vote. It was a rather contentious election and would be decided by the Supreme Court.
It was tight from the very beginning. I mean, the Republicans were out for blood after two terms with Bill Clinton. Clinton left office very popular, but his vice president Al Gore, the rap on him was he was kind of wooden and not terribly exciting. And Clinton was the kind of guy that would suck all the oxygen out of the room, as they would say. He was charismatic, all eyes were drawn to him, and whatever magic Clinton had, Gore didn't have it. Bush, he was the son of a president, son of the president that Clinton beat in '92, as a matter of fact. Bush, I recall saying some interesting things, like, and this is ironic given how his presidency is remembered today, but Bush said that we need, in foreign policy, to lower our international profile, right? Not getting involved in wars all over the world. There had been some interventions that the Clinton administration made that were unpopular in southeastern Europe and the Balkans, in Somalia. There were particularly disastrous intervention in Somalia. So the American people were receptive to this message, lower our international profile.
As a result of Clinton's two-term presidency, the fight on the Republican side seemed much stronger. However, the election generated controversy from both sides of the aisle.
It was nasty. Not as nasty as this one. I don't like to get into the game of saying, well, this campaign is nastier than any in history, because there have been some really, really nasty campaigns in American history. But I think this one has to be counted among the very most contentious. Just in things like the candidates refusing to shake hands in the second and third debates, and in fact, barely acknowledging one another. There is rage on both sides in this race. I do remember in the 2000 elections, the way they were portrayed was that Gore is very smart but boring. Bush is less boring, but also not very smart. I remember how it was portrayed on Saturday Night Live, for instance, and Will Ferrell really made a name for himself playing a completely clueless Bush.
Unfortunately, the results of this election would cause even more unrest amongst the American people.
The election results, you would see around 9 o'clock in the evening that all of the networks had reported that Mr. Gore had won Florida, and then if you were watching it around 11 o'clock, they would have discovered that no, Mr. Gore had not won Florida. Florida was still in debate, and the issue there is technology. Or the expression of CHADS, C-H-A-D-S, punch cards. You push out a little tab in the ballot, and some of them weren't pushed out entirely, so they were referred to as hanging chads. Some of them were just bubbled, and they were referred to as pregnant chads. Who do these votes belong to? Who actually won the election?
There's been no election in my lifetime where we didn't know by the end of the night who the winner was. In fact, most of them we knew pretty quickly who the winner was going to be. And this certainly, the weeks passed, and then all the issue of the hanging chads. They go back. They want to do a recount in Florida, but is it going to be a recount of the whole state, or is it going to be a recount of certain precincts? If so, which precincts? It was a real mess. And then ultimately it took the intervention of the Supreme Court to say stop the recount, and essentially awarded the presidency to Bush. And that was deeply controversial, still is.
This election and the decision by the highest court in the land would draw a lot of questions from the general public.
Gore won the popular vote in the 2000 election. More people voted for Gore. But Bush wins in the Electoral College. So Bush is constitutionally and legally elected. The result was that the American people began to question the Electoral College, a system that would allow for the candidate who received fewer votes than his challenger to win the office.
Although many American citizens took issue with the manner in which the election was decided, the tragedy of September 11th derailed conversations of campaign controversy.
People saying "Hail to the thief," the suggestion being that Bush had stolen the election with the help of a partisan Supreme Court. It was difficult for Bush to establish his legitimacy, and in that sense, 9/11 helped him. After 9/11, it's not as though Bush became exempt from criticism, although for a little while he did. He was. But nobody really talked about a stolen election in 2000 after 9/11. People criticized him, of course, for the Iraq War and plenty of other things. But the controversy surrounding the 2000 election really died on 9/11.
Although his presidency ran during one of the most devastating U.S. tragedies, Bush followed through on tax cuts, Medicare Part D, and the No Child Left Behind Act. Bush would then be re-elected in 2004 before the Hope and Change campaign of Democrat Barack Obama reclaimed the Oval Office in 2008. As we eagerly await the results of the 2016 election, looking back on similar bids for the executive office can lend us perspective on this already historic election cycle.